Hello there guys, and welcome back to Warlock, Master of the Arcane. It's been a little while since I put out the last video of this, so for that I apologise. So let's have a very quick recap. It's now basically just ourselves and the elves. We've wiped out the librarian, the yellow guy, and we have wiped out the red wizard, the lizard guy. We still have an alliance with the elves, though it is a bit of a fragile one. They consider us a major threat because we are probably much bigger than them and we are the last remaining superpower on the map. We defeated both of the other mages by basically a military conquest. Now let's remember, there are actually several ways that we can win on this game. There are several victory conditions, just like there are in Civilization. So, first of all, we've got Conquest. We could just go and take his capital, which is probably what will end up happening, although he hasn't been the most aggressive of opponents during this game. But that's not such a bad thing either. He is our ally at the moment, which means we're not directly fighting, which is a good thing. Although there probably will be competition between us for some of the surrounding neutral territories, which I'm going to try and snap up as quick as possible. The second option is for a tech victory, which is basically be the first person to complete the entire spell research tree and then cast the big final spell at the end. Now that's a little bit risky for me because this is my first complete playthrough and I don't really understand the research tree. I don't know whether I'm ahead or behind, I don't know how far he is through the tree, I don't know if I'm close to the end of the tree. And it could be very risky just sitting on my hands and waiting to research tech where he might beat me to it. The second option is to control 50% or more of the holy sites on the map. Now, we do have a couple of holy sites. I know we've got one down here somewhere where we've built the temple to Crypta. I believe there's another holy site somewhere else on the map that we did find. Can't quite remember. Is it that one there? Holy Ground, yeah, so there's a second one. Again, another issue with this problem is I don't actually know how many holy sites there are on the map. Also, I don't know how many of them the elves actually have. There may be some within their territory. And I also don't know how many of them are going to be within the territory of the neutrals, which is what all of the remaining cities that belong to the red and yellow guy became neutral when their capitals were taken out. So I do have to be very careful there. The other and final option, I believe, is the one with the gods, which is where if you get yourself, or any person I suppose, gets all the way over to one particular god, then the opposing god sends their avatar down, and if you kill that avatar, you essentially win the game. But what happens if an avatar comes down and the elves kill the avatar? I don't know. How strong are these avatars? Can I beat one in combat? Again, I don't really know. So we may well end up going for a straightforward conquest victory. So let us end the turn and see how things play out. I would like to try and capture, if possible, some of these neutral cities, because they may be useful for us. Right, a unit has no orders. What was I doing with these mages if I was doing anything with them at all? I think I'm just going to leave them there, actually, because we do keep getting attacked a little bit from those guys down there. I'm also going to try and build a couple more settlers, so we can get a few cities up and running. Now, the reason I'm going to do that is a few people have suggested, and quite rightly so, unlike Civilization, there's no penalty for spamming cities everywhere. This is the issue you have in Civilization because you have the happiness. And if you expand too rapidly and start too many new cities, your happiness goes down and you get all sorts of problems. You can just spam cities to your heart's content in this game, it seems. So that is what we're going to do. And we're going to try and land a city down here to get these gems. That would actually be ideal for us. And we may also see if we can get one. I don't know, we'll have a look around, but definitely getting those gems would be quite useful because apparently it's a really valuable resource. So we're going to have a look at that. We're also going to do our best here to try and wipe these guys out because they're a little bit close and we could do without them being here, to be perfectly honest with you. Didn't quite get them there, sadly. We do get a promotion on our skeletal archers, which is quite nice. Let us give them a bit more resistance to elemental and death magic. Let's move our galleon in and take a pot shot. We might be able to finish it off. And indeed we do. Haven't been able to take these out yet. Not too worried about them. Don't think we're going to be big enough over here to pump out any settlers. Yet we have no units available there. We could pop out settlers here in Bonefort. So is it Bonefort or is it the one above? Norcastle, I think. Yeah, peasant settlers. So let's pop out some settlers. We'll travel them down here. We'll get them onto this bit of land. I think we're safe down here. Just going to move these knights down one, actually. Just have a quick look. Yeah, so we'll move down here and we will essentially try and grab these gems if we can. We can construct a building over here. What do we do? What is it worth having for us here? There is a high potential of getting attacked from this side. We're fairly good on cash and food. We could do with a little bit more mana because we're spending quite a lot of mana in upkeeping our army and our enhancements. So let's build a mana trap. There's a couple of different places we can build one. Let's pop one down there. Now, a lot of people have suggested to me that the way to play this is to actually specialize with your city. So have one city that specializes just in producing gold and build all the gold production buildings. Have another city that specializes in producing food. And in hindsight, that's a really good idea. And I wish I'd have been doing that from the start. I do feel, though, that it's a little bit late for me to be trying to do that now. You know, I've already sort of... I'm already in a position where that's not really the ideal way of doing things. So I'm going to do my best to try and... I don't know, is it worth taking one of these cities? It probably is. They do seem to have a fair few units around here, though, which could be quite dangerous. But I'm going to do as much damage to them as possible. I know I did produce all of these units to try and give us some defense against the elves, which we will still do. I'm going to move these guys up actually. These will be more useful during the fight. Now, what I want to keep doing is, if possible, firing on Plaguedell. I want to try and take Plaguedell. The problem I've got, and what I don't want to happen, is I don't want him to end up getting it. Which might be the issue here, but we shall see. I still don't think that's low enough for him to take it on his turn, so we should be okay. These guys can camp up. And we have our mages here, who I think were just basically scouting out the area, really, or defending. They only seem to have one city down there. I'm not sure if we can do any vast amount of damage to it, if we can actually do any damage to it at all. But let's take pot shots at it anyway. We might be able to do something with it. And, of course, we have a galleon down here, which has taken a bit of damage, but we can certainly use it to thin their fleets out. And we can also have a few pops at them from the coast. So let's go ahead and end the turn and see what happens. And as I expected, he is trying to attack Plaguedell, but he isn't really doing enough damage to be able to take it. We should be okay. There's an awful lot of monsters just randomly appeared on the map. And unfortunately, it looks like we've lost some archers to Minotaurs, but that's not much of a problem. We should be able to take those Minotaurs out. Mages took quite a bit of damage there, which is a bit of a shame. So we've got to do something about these monsters. So let's have a look. These mages don't seem to be able to do an awful lot of damage on their own to this place. So is it worth trying to attack? Probably is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my melee hero down, because it gives him more to shoot at. I'm also going to cast a spell, which is a regeneration spell, if I can find it. Is that the one? Yeah. So we'll put regeneration on the mages, and we will do our very best to attack this place and see if we can sufficiently weaken it. We've got a promotion somewhere. Actually, these mages, I should have done that first. Let's give them some resistance to missiles, because that's where most of the attacks are coming from. Can build another building over here at Kingswood. Right, what should we have? Still a little bit short on mana, but having more money is also nice as well. So let's have tax offices. This is the thing. Tax offices give you an extra 50% gold production, but it's only really worth having the tax offices if you already have a lot of units or a lot of buildings producing money. Otherwise, 50% of nothing is still nothing, right? Apparently, we've got another building we can construct over here. Right, what are we putting out here? Mana, mana, gold, gold. So, we can produce mana vaults. Mana vaults are required for crypts. Now, it does cost a bit of gold, but it does give us an extra 50% mana. So, let's have one of those. Why not? Enemy at the gates. Of course, we've now got these minotaurs to deal with. Because, stupidly, I sacrificed my archers to them by getting too close. Is that them dead? Yeah, that's the minotaurs dead. We have a lot of neutrals over here. Yeah, we actually have a lot of neutrals over here. Awful lot of them indeed. Let me leave that one for now. Let me start by using these buildings over here. And let's do that. Now I'm going to use this unit to loot, just to stop that from respawning. It'll also give me some gold. And this unit is a very cheap unit, the green bats, and the reason I actually produced them was I wanted to go north into our allies' territory so I could scout out where his capital is, because at the moment, don't actually know where it is. So, let's do as much damage as we can to these units down here. It may not be an awful lot. They are actually quite tough units. You can't actually reach that far. Right, can you guys actually take them out? No, did quite a bit of damage to them though, so that might be good. Still an awful lot of units around. Going to attack those with you. Going to thin these units out as much as possible. Now, over here, we might actually have enough to be able to take this, so let's see what we can do. Right, now, can we actually move into it with these units? That's the question. Can you actually capture them with a ranged unit? No, you can't. That's put the... that's an issue. That's very much an issue. Can we summon? Not on this turn. We are probably going to lose this building. That could be problematic. Okay, we'll see what happens. We'll carry on, because we do have more neutrals around. Apparently we do anyway. I don't know where this one is. Am I missing something? Oh, they're there. So we'll use the boat to try and finish them off if we can. Which we do. And then we can use the archers to loot. Another 60 gold. Thank you very much. Yes, my lord. You need orders. Well, you're going to continue taking their units out from the sea. Just because that's nice and easy. You guys could move one space up and try and take those spiders out. There we go. We still need to loot the place to stop them respawning, but that is another one taken out, which is very good. You guys are just going to go on to sentry. You guys are also going to go on to sentry as well. And that's pretty much the end of that turn. Now that's exactly what I thought was going to happen. Unfortunately, I cannot take that off him unless I am willing to go to war with him. So that is something I'm gonna have to think about very carefully. Do I want to do that? Of course, it is possible that it could still get taken off of him by the neutrals, which would mean I could then try and take it back. So we will see. We'll keep our eye on that one there.
Congratulations! You have successfully researched a new spell, my lord.
So we've got some stuff going on. I'm going to move our archers back over here because I think that's a much better spot for them to be in. We've researched a new spell, which is Mana Vampirism. Steal from the target, give to the caster, and it costs 1 mana per turn to do. So we could actually cast this on our ally. Although I think it would be a prelude to war. Summon bears. Why not? Only going to take 1 turn. Construct a building. So we can build something over here now. We're producing food and money. So let's go for... and we're losing mana now. So let's have a mana trap. Let's try and get some additional mana. Let's close the city view. Enemy at the gates, of course. We still have a lot of neutrals to deal with. So we're going to do all we can to try and take these neutrals out. He should be easily taken out by that. Let's move these guys down here. Will they get there in one turn? I think they will. And that's that looted. Got some mana for that as well. We can attack these units. Critical hit. We're going to move these archers over here, because that will automatically loot that one. And then we will attack. Cocked up my order there. I should have shot with this magic tower first, and then I could have actually... Well, no, because I wouldn't have been able to make the move twice. But, oh well, never mind. Still worked out in the end. There's our settlers. So, let's move them down in this direction. Take them a few turns to get there, but not a terrible thing. We could just teleport them, but seems like a bit of a waste of mana at this point in time. Let us continue to attack this place. Both of these units have full health, so... Can we actually give the mages or anybody a significant upgrade that would help them? Just resistances, really. We don't have anything that helps their attack, so... It's probably a little bit of a waste. So, we're just going to get them to attack. We're doing some damage to it, so it's not a complete waste. So, this is the question here. Do I say to this guy, I'm going to war with you? Because he does have a lot of stuff. His growth has gone practically unchecked. And going to war with him without knowing how big his territory is could be a very difficult thing. Am I too bothered that he has this? Not really. Could I break my alliance with him, steal this off him, and then go back to peace with him before he does too much damage to me? Possibly. And I'm probably better off doing that now while it is still a small... You know, while it still has very little health left. The problem is, I still don't have any melee units around that can attempt to grab it, which is the issue. So there's absolutely no point in me declaring war on him on this turn. Okay, everybody else might as well just stay where they are for now. Okay, you're just going to stay there, I think, really. You're more on defensive duty than anything else. Not an awful lot that you need to do, so again, you can just defend. Right, at some point you need to try and get some health back. Now, I've just done a stupid thing there because I've just moved close to that flipping tower again. So we want to just keep firing at these guys. Again, didn't quite kill them. Yep, you just defend up. So, let's give it another turn, see what happens. Of course, he could still declare war on us. That's always a possibility. I just don't want him to end up getting too strong by gathering too much support from neutral cities. Ouch. That hurt. What on earth were they?
Excellency, someone has humbly requested your aid.
Okay, so we've researched the bear spell. We can now research a new spell. Let's get some of these, like, barren lands. It might be a little bit useless to us, I think, but at least we can start getting some of them out of the way. We have a new quest. Kill the dangerous wild creatures. Got some bears to kill. Where are they? Very close to our territory. Shouldn't be too difficult to kill, though we don't actually have any units. A lord is leaving, which is this guy here who we cannot afford to hire, so that's fair enough. There's not an awful lot we can do about that. A unit can be promoted, which is this guy here. We can give him Pathfinder, which means he doesn't take as much penalty from terrain, which is nice. Sisters of Crypta, right, these are going to be difficult to beat. Look at that, they actually have 45 health. Immune to death magic. Yeah, immune to death magic. They take very little damage from life magic. 50% resistance from elemental magic. They can summon skeletons. These are going to be a pain. So what I'm going to do is I have a spell somewhere which is lesser weakness. Let's cast that on them. I'm not sure how much of an effect that is going to have. Unit power minus 25% for 5 turns. So that should make them do less damage. Let's just go over here and hit them. Let's hit them very hard. I'm actually very surprised that Orc can't fire at them. Yeah, they took a pretty big hit there. They're already down to half health. Why Orc Gate cannot fire at them, I do not know. So, let's have a look what else we've got over here. Let's continue to move. Do we have anything down there to defend? No, we're going to leave you there to defend. So, we'll move you there to capture. So, that's another neutral's den cleared. You are going to do that which we sort of hired you for, which was to sneak up into this guy's territory and have a mooch around, see what we can find. We've still got these bears that we need to kill. Now remember, we don't actually have to loot anything, we just have to kill them. So what I might be able to do is drop a shadow bolt or something on them. Not in this turn, I'm not though. Don't quite have enough time. Can we just go with a lesser shadow bolt, possibly? Are they immune to anything? They're immune to life magic. Well, 100% resistance to life magic, or 100 resistance to life magic. I say that's not immune. That's just resistant to 75%. That is 75% resistant. So elemental magic and death magic should hit them for the full whack. So let's cast a. Can we even cast a shadow bolt? No, don't have time. Can we cast a lesser fireball? Do we have time for that? No. So can't kill it on this turn. Real shame. Real shame. I don't even have a boat that's close enough to do it. And these guys are slightly out of movement. So yeah, that is a shame. Not a lot I can do about that though. So what have we got over here? More random mobs that have appeared. At least we took those out in a single hit because we didn't want our settlers getting killed. So you need to continue moving up. You're going to continue. We will eventually kill them. I'm determined to do it. There we go. Finally got them. You can heal up on the next turn then. What else have we got? Right, we've got all these guys here. What are we going to do with them? I think what we should do with these guys, to be honest, is I think we should start moving over here. And at least making an effort to try and capture another one of these neutral cities. Because this guy's already got one. Maybe we can capture another one. That's the theory that I'm working on right here. So let's move. Let's get to that hex if we can. I know we're not going to do that for a turn or two, but we need to do something. You guys are just going to stay on sentry. You guys are going to stay on sentry in case we get attacked from these neutral camps down at the bottom. You guys are going to stay on sentry because that's just a good place for you to stop. He's probably going to kill that bear now, but we should still get the reward from it, I think. Because we are still... I think we're still allies. I'll have to double check now. I'm not entirely sure. But I know on a lot of the missions, when your ally completes the quest before you do, it counts for both of you. But I do need to check, because I can't remember if we are allied or whether we just have a non-aggression pact. Okay, taking some shots from that, which is what I expected. Okay, so let's have a look. First of all, let's just double check. We do have an alliance. Okay, fine. Not sure why that didn't count for us then. Or maybe it did. Yes, this quest was successfully completed, 80 gold, so it did count for us. Brilliant. Okay. So, let's move you down here, and we're probably not going to do an awful lot of damage to these skeletons anyway, or whatever they are. Yeah, skeletal veterans, but we're going to keep plinking at you for XP, because, you know, why not? Now, I did say I was going to let you repair up, and in fact, I think that is what I'm going to let you do. Why not? The others are neutrals, I'm not worried about them too much. You didn't take as much damage as I thought you would, but that's because you've got your buddy there healing you, so we shall carry on doing as much damage as we can. Let's move our mages a little bit closer. I'm not going to go all the way around. I mean, he can still hit me from there because buildings tend to have a range of about 3 anyway, so we might be able to take it out. We do get a level up, and it's on these guys. I should have done that first. Let's give them some, well, that's melee resistance. Let's give them elemental resistance in case they start using spells to try and take us out. A unit needs orders. Who's that? That's our hero. Now, what we should probably do here is, oh, sorry. Move into that hex. Move into this hex. Finish them off. Didn't actually want to move over into this hex, but At least now we can move back and start carrying on to try and take that out. I do need some more mages down there, though. My mages were doing an awful lot of damage, so... Where do we get our mages from? Is it from Doomford? Yes, it is. It does cost us a bit in mana, but mages are really, really good in this game, so I'm going to use those. We're also going to move these archers up as well. There we go. They are in place. Let's end this turn. Not sure what happened there. Oh yeah, a unit has no tasks. It's these guys. So, the question is, where is your capital? There. There's his capital. We could potentially attack it from the water. That is a very realistic possibility. And it has a size of 11. What size did these cities have? Well, these were smaller. So, it is a relatively big city. But we have found his capital now. And that's very, very useful for us. Because now we know where we need to attack. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to start building some more galleons. They are expensive, but they do a lot of damage. So we're going to end this turn, which is what we were trying to do before anyway. I'm still not too sure what he's doing with those settlers down there, to be honest. You can't, I mean, you can settle on the volcanic land, but it's really, really bad land. It's very, very inhospitable. It's difficult to move on. I think you actually take damage per turn. Your units take damage per turn every time you're on a volcano tile, so... Seems like a very strange thing indeed, but we shall see. Okay, what have we got here? We have more neutrals that have shown up. They do seem to be pouring out, don't they? And we definitely don't want to... Well, actually, let's see if we can take them out with our archers first. Because if we can... Which we did. That means we can continue to use our galleon to attack these people here. And we will get our settlers to go around. Hopefully safely. What else have we got? Okay, we want you to move over into this hex and carry on attacking this place, because you're doing a fair amount of damage to it, to be honest. More than it seems to be able to heal. Unit needs orders. Okay, well everyone's at pretty much full health, so let's continue to bombard the city here. Not going to try and attack these Ratmen, I think they are. Ratman robbers, because he's fighting them anyway. So there's another good chunk of its health taken off. You guys, again, you just got woken up because of those randomly spawning units. Don't have an awful lot of use for you now, but I might as well continue to use you to explore this guy's territory, as you are a flying unit, so we can have a look around and see what you have. And that's pretty much all I can do on that turn. So he now has 3 of his major cities. He's got this thing over here and that one. But we can get straight to his capital. We do have to sneak past Irrilturn, which is a bit of a pain. And if we use naval units, we do have to sneak past Calaturn. But that should be okay. That shouldn't be too much of a problem. So I think we can actually go straight for him there. In which case, I'm not too bothered about this. He doesn't... Well, he does have quite a lot of units. They do seem to be defending his capital. It's almost like he's expecting an attack. Although a few well-placed AoE spells on that area is going to take a lot of units out for very little mana. But that is something that we're going to have to come back to on another video. So, thanks a lot again for watching, guys, and I hope you're still enjoying the series. Remember, keep those tips coming, because I do pay attention to them, even if I'm a little too far in the game to be able to put all of them to good use. But I do my best to try and play better with each subsequent video. So, until next time, guys, goodbye for now.